He's introduced soft painting to Chicago. His designs are brightly colored collages of fabric inspired by his Israeli kibbutz. He's Calman Shemi, a brightly colored collage of talent sharing his innovative works with us in Chicago at the Circle Gallery. Hi, I'm Deborah Palmer, and today we're going to learn more about this very talented and personable Israeli artist here on Focus. Calman, as I said in the introduction, your works are inspired by Kibbutz Karmia, where you lived since 1961. How do you work elements and images from the kibbutz into your work?
I live in Karmia more than 20 years. In all the time when I stay in my home, or when I go to working, I see from each place, I see landscape, and I see trees, and I see nature. Maybe this is a big influence in my work, maybe for all my life.
If you lived in the city, could you produce the same art? Do you think we would be seeing the same beautiful works around us now if you lived in the city?
Yeah, better.
How so?
Better. Why? Well, when I in the city live, I have, nostalgia. I have nostalgia from this landscape, from this nature, Living in the city, you see only buildings on cement, on glass, on steel, on iron. You don't see trees, and you don't see landscape, on nature. And then, all the time, what I make is nostalgia from this time. Also, many artists, when they painting, or when they read, or they're making music, they have nostalgia from the past. When they were children, This is for this picture from the landscape in kibbutz. For me, is the infancia.
From his childhood.
Yes.
I want to break in. This is Eve Eisman, who's helping us interpret. You can speak Spanish, German, you name it, is helping us today. Thank you very much for being here,
so
too.
Good. Thank you.
You mentioned the word nostalgia, and I'd like to read a quote that is yours. I would like to create art which can arouse nostalgia in people so that they will say, I don't know where it was or when, but I was there. I recognize the atmosphere and the spirit of the landscape. Either I already visited the place or I dreamed I would. You really should be a poet, too. Any of the works we're seeing around us, are any of them dreams of where you'd like to be? Any of them fantasies of yours?
I don't know exactly if this is dreams. Maybe this is pictures what I take in my life when I go in street in the city, or in Argentina, or in Israel, or in many parts of the world I've been. I take with my eyes, I take pictures. Picture is not a dream. Perhaps many pictures I take in my life, just together, when I make together the form for a dream. I don't know if it's a dream exactly. This picture that I take with my computer with my eyes, and then when I sit to
a lot of personal experiences.
Yes.
Right? Yes. Before we actually get into specific works like One Clear Day, which was inspired by Walt Whitman, I'd like to get into the technique. It's a patented process. You started at the kibbutz, the fabrics you use, the natural dyes, the needles. If you can just start with how you produce your work.
First I make, before I make the soft painting, I make a maquette.
Okay.
This maquette is painting by acrylic paint, and this is the most important
step.
This is the most important step is to find what to make, what I want to make. When I finish this maquette, I can go on to make this soft paint. The soft paint is made by fabrics. All the process to make a soft painting is very, very long. It's very long. Why? First, I must find colors. What the colors to work? The colors, the fabric, I make alone. I buy only fibers in this material. With this material, I make the fabric.
Out of what material? What is the material?
This is natural fibers, or wool, or synthetic fibers. And then when I make the fabric, each color what I want. I can make millions of colors.
You said they're natural dyes?
No, the fiber is itself colored. You know.
Okay.
I don't color it. I don't size the fiber. The fiber is original colored. And then I make the fabric. When I have the fabrics, I can make the soft paint. You know? The process is very, very. It's not so complicated. First, I take a background, perhaps this background. In this background, when I want to take a very, very light color, very, very transparent color, I take fabric, and then I can open, you know, I can open this fabric. And when I take, I have a beautiful water color, you know.
It's almost like a watercolor, right?
Yeah, and then I can take saw. When I want wool, I take wool like saw, you know. Or when I want you know, saw. And then I have special needles. With this needle, I can connect this material.
Just like that, and there's no thread that is used, but you use thread sometimes to define the shapes, right?
Right.
Okay.
And this is the technique. When I finish all the soft painting, example this.
Hold that up.
This little piece. This is all the color. All the color is a piece cutting by scissors.
Yeah.
You know, it's put this, and with a little machine, I put all the soft painting.
But your machine has 9,000 needles, right?
No, I have a little machine in my studio. When I finish this work in the studio, then I take all the soft painting to the factory. In the factory, going in this big machine. This big machine had around 7,000 needles, and then it will make all the soft painting connect in a beautiful texture in all the.
In fact, it's as I was reading about your work, it says you create an illusion of transparency because you actually don't use thread. It's all just connected.
I don't know. It's not an illusion for transparency. It's transparency. You know, this is transparent. That is transparent. It's not illusion. When you painting, you must make an illusion. This is transparent. Here, you don't need to make an illusion. It's transparent.
Calman, the work, for instance, the work we see behind you is brilliant. As I said in the introduction, it's bright colored collage, a lot of fabrics. How much time does it actually take from the beginning of starting your maquette to actually producing it to the time it comes here to Circle Gallery?
Days, weeks. It's not exactly, I cannot say exactly how much time to make one need. The process is very, very long. The process is very long from the beginning, from the maquette to the finish. It's long. Days, weeks.
You know, we talked about the kibbutz that inspired you, the trees, the ground, the earth, the sky. There's also a poet who inspires you. We were talking before, Walt Whitman, and I believe he inspired some thoughts that went into your soft painting, One Clear Day. If you can explain the imagery that he inspired in you that finally resulted in One Clear Day.
Yes, okay. Yes, for me, I have not a very complicated philosophy in my art. It's not so complicated. It's very, it's not simple. It's very basic. One from the basic, from this basic point is to love the life. When it's impossible to love the life when you don't love woman. When I've been very young, perhaps 13, I found a book from Walt Whitman, and in this book I remember a very good poetry. In this poetry, Walt Whitman says so: when you going 1 meter or 1 mile, sin, ¿cómo se dice sin? Without love, that's the same you go with shroud to the tomb. You know, for me, it's very strong impact. I've been very young, and I understand this very good, direct to my heart. Yeah, he's right. This Walt Whitman is very a clever man. Yeah. Also today, I've been very old now. But I think exactly the same, in the same intensity, in the same strong emotion for me. Yes, this is it. Then all the art that I make in my life is art is a traduction or interpretación. An interpretation from love the life, or not love only the life. When I can, woman is much better.
Well, how do you work that? For instance, in One Clear Day, you're very familiar with the piece. It is exquisite. How did you work that imagery in, the shrouded people, love of life? How did you work that in?
Lo más importante para mí, la manera, digamos, más directa de transmitir es hacer un arte, una pintura que no miente a la persona, que no es una mentira.
The most important thing for him is, when he paints, that it's the pure truth, that there is not one bit of lie, that it's really his honest feeling and how he really feels, and it does not lie to whoever looks at it. It's just how he honestly feels. That's
right. But when we were talking before, you said a lot of what Walt Whitman said in this poem, you used a lot of that in One Clear Day. I believe there's 2 images, white. How did Walt Whitman affect that, what you read? What are those 2 images?
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. For example, in this work, yes, in this One Clear Day, the color is very brilliant. It's very nice. It's very happy. Very happy. When in one angle from the subtitle, I have a sound. Remember a sound from this poetry from Walt Whitman. You understand? Es, digamos, como un sonido de ese poema. Que ese sonido se repite casi en muchos de los tapices.
There's a certain sound in that poem that repeats itself over and over in the painting.
Okay. And in the other paintings as well?
Yes, many from my tapestry you can see this. The same figure.
We've been talking about your love of life, love for women. In fact, you have your beautiful wife here. She's sitting right here, Efrat. She's been with you, and I understand she helps you a lot with your work. We'll interview her next year when you come back. I notice you wear red. The reds you use are brilliant. I mean, the reds are vivid. You have a beautiful red scarf. What does red do for you?
I don't know exactly.
To come from you're born in Argentina?
Yes. red is blood. You know, in Hebrew, blood and health is from the same word. Dam and adama, dam adama is the same discomfort. This is very, these two elements is very, very important in the life. You know, when you stay with you stay in the heart, when you feel the blood.
Yeah, healthy in earth.
Yes, feeling the blood is many things. Feeling blood. Feeling blood is also sexual relation. Feeling blood is family. Feeling blood is very, very strong symbol. Blood on red is beautiful color. It's beautiful color. Red, white, and black is beautiful color.
You use them a lot. I just mentioned Argentina. You were born in Argentina. Obviously, your Spanish is perfect for good reason. You arrived in Israel. Well, you started living in Kibbutz Karmia in 1961, and you use a lot of that life, the kibbutz life, in your work. How about Argentina? Any memories of Argentina? Do you use that in your paintings as well?
¿Usa usted en su pintura
elementos
de la Argentina, sí, de su vida pasada de Argentina?
No, I don't. So, my landscape or my feeling from the landscape of nature is not Israel or Argentine or Italy. No, it's universal. It's not special landscape. Or
they're
special,
more feelings.
Yes, no. It's
International.
very international, very general, very universal.
Universal, yeah.
Yes.
What I understand is that you studied under a marvelous teacher and you had a lot of respect for him. You still do. Rudy Leiderman,
Yes.
a sculptor. You spent hours and hours, day after day, talking to him and learning from him. What did you actually learn from him?
First, I learned to drink tea. To drink tea.
Oh, to drink
Tomate.
tea, like a glass of tea.
I come to him one day a week. I come one day a week in the house from Rudy Leiderman, and we sit from 11 o'clock in the morning, 11 to 3 afternoon, and we spoken, only spoken. We spoke on politics, on art, on families, on food. Also, 7 years. 7 years, I drink tea. We speak about politics, on sexual problems, on art, on philosophy. When I learned with him, you must be honest. You must find a really way to live, to love, to work in art, to being a good professional artist. Good professional artist. You know, that's the most important I learned. When I make a little
¿Cómo? ¿Qué palabra?
esquivo, cuando quiero hacer un poco, cuando me quería desvair del camino, él me pegaba un golpe y me decía, no, eso está mal.
Whenever he wanted to vary a little bit from his straight walk, then he said no. Then that's
Who said
bad.
the teacher said?
The teacher said that's bad.
Yeah.
You go straight. You don't.
You were talking about how Rudy Leiderman taught you a lot about work and politics and drinking tea. Who are some of your favorite artists?
My favorite now I understand art. Before I don't understand that my favorite is first Rodin, and after this Rimour, many artists. And now I have many experience. I understand art. My favorite is first Matisse, from the paintings Matisse. And from the sculptor, the best of all my life is Brancusi. You know, Brancusi, this Romanian artist, work in France. This too is the more beautiful, strong, more complete
Yeah.
completely artists, you know.
Well, what do you say? Why do you say they're more complete? What makes them more complete?
Completely is these artists make so beautiful art and so big art. They make ellos han hecho, digamos, hay artistas que hacen una porción, una parte de la, digamos, hacen arte dramático, otros hacen arte color, otros hacen filosofía, otros hacen...
Pero ellos
hicieron todo el círculo,
todo,
todo como se diga una síntesis de toda la vida.
Many artists just paint one aspect of life. They combine all aspects of
the
life.
philosophy and the color, the
yes,
design,
exactly.
everything, the total artist.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, you now have your own signature. People recognize your painting, go, Shemi, Calman Shemi. How do you weave your signature into all of your pieces? I understand you have a very special technique of putting your signature. Obviously, you don't paint.
No, it's with hat, con un artefacto a calor, con esa
With heat.
Yeah,
with heat.
Yeah,
with heat. He signs it with a very hot.
But don't you weave?
No,
You actually weave your painting in the back?
Not woven, it's with heat.
I want to know how fame affects you. I understand that Israel's President Katzir presented on the late Anwar Sadat with a Shemi. The Romanian President Ceausescu has one. Anne Bancroft, the American actress, has one. In fact, someone at the opening said that there's another famous Israeli artist and said, soon we're going to be going through the suburbs and seeing that Israeli artist's work in the back, and there will be Shemis in the front. That's a big statement.
Yeah.
I mean, it's new, okay? How does that affect you? How do you respond to becoming famous?
Que se lo diga.
Sí, yo no creo, no sé si esto queda bien decirlo, pero a mí no me impresiona, es decir, no cambia nada en la vida mía el hecho de ser más famoso.
He said he doesn't know whether he really should say this, but becoming famous doesn't affect him at all.
No.
You should say that. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And you say you're honest. I only hung with Bemuna. It's true.
Is it true?
Okay.
Is it true?
As we look around us throughout the gallery, we notice that all your installations are huge. I'm sure they could even be bigger, but your maquette is obviously a lot smaller. Is there any reason for them being so big?
La explicación es que en esa técnica es más fácil trabajar en grande que trabajar en chico. Es decir, si uno hace chico, es, digamos, yo doy el ejemplo, es como tratar de hacer, digamos, a Hamlet en vez de 1 hora y media en 10 minutos. Es imposible, no se puede.
His kind of art just has to be on big canvases. It wouldn't come out. It would be like if you made an omelet and it would take you an hour and a half. So it only is effective on a big canvas.
Yo no me quiero comparar a Shakespeare, no es esa la intención mía, pero digo, para ejemplo, es buen ejemplo.
Doesn't want to compare himself with Shakespeare, but as an example, it's a good example.
The Bard of Chicago.
Yeah.
You've been walking through Chicago for a few days now. You've been exhibiting in other circle galleries throughout the country. Have you picked up any ideas? Well, obviously, this isn't Israel. We don't have the same landscape, but have you picked up any ideas that maybe we'll see next year in art? Like what?
Yes, maybe. I like very much this city. Also New York. Now I stay around 1 week in Chicago. I like very much these beautiful buildings, pure architecture, very strong, also very honest architecture. You know, it's very honest. It's right. It's clean. It's pure. You don't say, I can make so and I can make so. No, she can make so. The new architecture, it can make only pure, functional. This
functional architecture.
Yes, functional. For me, this es una verdad, ¿entiendes? Es un arte muy puro, muy limpio, y en ese sentido yo me identifico con él. Y me gusta, y espero que de alguna manera va a influir eso en mí.
He likes the architecture. It's straight out forward and beautiful and pure, and that he compares, it parallels a little bit the way he likes to paint.
One last question. We've talked about what you've learned from other artists, how you've been inspired by poets. What do you want your students to ultimately learn from you?
Sé que ahora, bien rápido, hemos que hacerlo. Los estudiantes suyos,
Sí.
¿qué es lo que prefiere usted que
Sí.
aprendan de usted? Lo más importante que usted les quiere enseñar.
Que lo que más me gustaría que aprendan, aprendan a ser libres.
They should be free artists.
It is. I feel like I'm free to roam. I wish I could be free to buy all of it, to be honest. Calman, Shemi, thank you so much for sharing your multi-talented personality and your craftsmanship with us. Weisman, thank you for making it a lot easier. Thank you for both of you for being here with us on Focus. And for Focus, I'm Deborah Palmer.